Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mary and I am so excited for you to be here with me today. If you'd like to see this face, not quite full face, but if you'd like to see this face, go ahead and check out my previous video using all She products. Now, let's go ahead, wash this makeup off and put on a brand new face. Hello and welcome back to another brand new face video. I am so excited for you guys to be here with me today. We're just gonna get jumping right into it. You may notice a couple things are just a little bit different. First off, the video may look a little different. In my previous video, I kind of discussed how I may have broken my little camera stand or my phone stand there. And I kind of took that as an opportunity to kind of change things up here a little bit. So we did get a new camera and camera stand. So hopefully these videos are going to start looking a lot better. So that's super exciting. So when I come up close, hopefully you can see some of those finer details. So that's the first thing here. And then if you kind of see me looking off to the side here, I've got my phone kind of set up as like a display, so it's kind of just propped up right up here. So that's what that is. Also, coming to the next level here is you may see the hair has kind of changed here a little bit. We did kind of chop off a good chunk of hair here, so that's super awesome, super exciting, and I'm not sure how well it's gonna pick up here, but it is kind of this really interesting, fun purple color. So decided to mix things up with the hair. So there's that. And then lastly, you can kind of see it back there. I'm looking to hopefully get it raised up here to look a little bit better. But we got a nice fun little storage going on back here. So that's super exciting. And we've got a little bit of decoration going on. Again, as I said, hopefully looking to kind of raise that up a little bit so you guys can kind of see that in the background, and I can kind of change it up as the seasons go on, or depending on makeup and things that I get, we can kind of switch things up there. So yeah, a couple of those small little changes. I just want to quickly kind of say here that I'm so excited for these changes, and it goes to show how much I really enjoy making these videos for you guys. Always looking forward to making changes on this channel and the things that you see, because I just genuinely really love making these videos, and I hope you guys really enjoy watching them as well. So just that small little thing there. Let's go ahead and get started into this next brand new face video. So today's brand is going to be LA Colors. Now that's probably something that sounds so familiar to so many because it is a very popular brand in most drugstores. A lot of these products I did not purchase from a local drugstore just because the ones around me are kind of slim pickings right now. So I did get a lot of it like on Amazon and online. So I did my best to kind of average out the pricing as if you were to have gotten this at your local drugstore. However, some of the products here I did probably spend more than I needed to just to be able to get them for you. So like we usually do, I'll kind of include that pricing as we go, how much it would typically cost if you were to get it at a drugstore, and then at the end we'll add that total up so you guys know how much this total face will cost. So yeah, we've got, looking at it here, I believe every single item to create a full face, which is so exciting because in our past couple of videos we've just really been slipping by and not quite having enough to create that full face. So I'm so happy to put a full face of makeup on here. Try a lot of actually new products. I've been familiar with LA Colors, used them a lot when I was younger, but they've definitely kind of mixed things up here. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started like we usually do. I'm gonna quickly just gonna pin this back here so we try to keep it out of the way. All right, so we've got that sort of pulled back here now. Let's go ahead and get started on the eyes. We do have a concealer. This is called the LA Colors Ultimate Cover Concealer. So here's what that looks like. Hopefully this will focus nicely for you. And what shade does it show? I got the shade CC904 Ivory. So let's go ahead and open this up. All right, and oh boy, yep, so we've got a larger doe foot applicator. That's super awesome. Let's go ahead and just apply it to our eyes. I think today I'm going to use, we will use a brush to apply this. let's go ahead and apply. That has a lot of coverage. I only put like 2 dots on so far, and that is covered the entire area of my eyelid. Okay, we've got that applied, nice, quick and easy. A little definitely goes a long way. Seems like it doesn't really dry down right away. It's got a bit of a tacky feel to it pretty much right after applying. I'll keep an eye on it here to see if it starts to crease up as we start to put on the rest of our eyes and our face here. So far, based off first impressions, I think the coverage is really nice. A little bit goes a long way. So I am definitely enjoying that part of it so far. Let's go ahead and set the concealer down here and move on to the eyeshadow. Now the eyeshadow is called the LA Colors Sweet 16 eyeshadow palette. Now I believe they have a couple of different versions of the Sweet 16 palette, different color options. I went with the one that's has a little bit more of the pink tones. It's got these really fun like bright blue and kind of teal looking colors in here as well. And so I ordered this one online, and unfortunately one of the shades did not make it. Not sure how well you can see that in there, but it crumbled, and so the palette got a little bit dusty here, and a couple of the shadows you can see in there definitely are a little dusty from that one pretty much just crumbling. So we won't be able to use that shade. And hopefully the inside of this palette won't be too messy, but unfortunately that's just something that happens when things are, especially eyeshadow palettes, are purchased online. You can't know really if there's gonna be any damage that's gonna take place while it's in transit. So opening it up here, yep, it is definitely messy, but I do want to show it to you. I'll probably wipe it down here, but those are some really fun colors. Definitely some neutrals, but we've got some really fun pops of that teal and blue. So let me just quickly try to wipe this down here a little bit, and then we'll decide what we're going to do with our eyes. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Wiping that off already has revealed so many new things to me already. So I thought this was like, and this, like these two right here, I thought were very similar, like pinky shades. No, it turns out that under all that broken shadow, there's this another bright, fun green color. And this guy's actually kind of like a silver color. Not sure how well you'll see that pick up. I mean, and even same down here, like so many of these shadows were just covered up by that damaged one. So let's try to really get as much of that off as possible. All right, we've got that wiped off just a little bit better. So I'll come in again so you guys can kind of see the actual colors that are in here. So we've still got those neutrals. We've got this really fun like gold color over here, and again those bright kind of like greens and blues and like a purple kind of over here. So that's super exciting. Let's go ahead and try to figure out how we want to start things off. I think what I want to do first here is dip into these two right here together, kind of alternating, and start to build that kind of in the crease and transition. And we will go ahead and use a Morphe M433 brush, and then just kind of dip back and forth, and then apply this to the crease. Okay, and then next what I'm going to do is just taking this one here only, and then just kind of focusing that more on the outer part of the eyelid here to kind of build up that darker color and add some definition. Okay, we've got those two shades applied. I'm going to come in close here to see how well you can see this. So you can... they're there, but they're definitely very soft. So things are looking nice. It just takes a little bit to build the color up if you do want to build that up a little bit more. And I kind of noticed like, so there's definitely a lot of like fallout in the palette here. And when I was dipping in them, and if I would like tap my brush off, it almost seemed like I just kind of tapped everything off of the brush. So I kind of stopped doing that so I could try to hold on to as much pigment in the brush here itself, but even that, like, it's still definitely a really soft color. But we've got kind of a general lay down here. So what I'm gonna do next here is I'm gonna take this deeper purple shade right here, and I'm kind of gonna do this similar thing that we did with that brown and just kind of try to get that outer part of the eyelid here deepened up just a little bit more. So there's that. That color is definitely helping out. It's a little bit deeper and showing up a little bit more. I do think the colors are blending really nicely together with a cheaper palette like this. I wasn't sure how that blending was gonna go, but honestly, I think things are blending on the eye here really nicely so far. I've got a little bit of a thick buildup right there, but I don't know if that's just my eyelid. It could even be the concealer. So I'm gonna take a clean brush here. This is a H&M large shading brush, and that's just going to be clean. I'm going to see if I can just soften that one little spot up there ever so slightly. Okay, and then what are we going to do next? Okay, so I think what we're going to do next here, I just swatched a couple of them on my arm here really quick just to kind of see what I wanted to do. This color here is what's kind of I'm kind of drawn to the most. So I think I'm just going to use my finger, dip into that guy. He's going to go pretty much all over the lid, but kind of focus it more in the center. I'll probably put a little bit of a lighter shade in the inner corner here and maybe try to deepen things up a little bit more on the outer again. But this is going to be kind of our focus color. So again, this shade right here, just kind of dipping in with my finger and tapping that on the eye. Okay, and then next what I'm gonna do is take this shade kind of up here in the corner. It's kind of like a pinky red tone. I think I'm gonna add that a little bit on the outer part here, just to kind of blend smooth all those, that purple and kind of that coppery color we've got going on here. I'm not sure how much it's gonna show up. Not really, not doing a whole lot. Okay, I'm just gonna go back in on that guy again and kind of fix things. I wasn't really happy with what that one shade did. So next I'm going to take this other kind of shimmer shade right here. It looks similar to this one here. It's just a little bit lighter. When I was swatching this on my arm, it doesn't swatch very well, so hopefully it'll appear nicely on the eye here. And I'm gonna focus that a little bit more on this inner part of the eyelid. Yeah, you can definitely see a difference of them there. I wasn't sure how much of a difference you'd be able to see, but you can sort of see it. So I will come in close so you guys can see how this is looking so far. So there are the eyelids here on top so far. Things are blending fairly nicely. I'm going to take my clean brush here and just kind of make sure we're all good. But yeah, I'm really liking that center kind of copper color. When I tried to kind of deepen things up over here a little bit, I don't really like how things blended out there, but that's okay. And then that center color, or not center, that more inner third color here is just a touch lighter. It's not going to be our inner corner necessarily, but I think those three colors, they look really nice together. Things are blending pretty well for the most part. So that's where we're going to put the eyeshadow for now. We will come back to it when we finish up the rest of our face here. Let's go ahead and jump into the eyeliner now. So eyeliner is the LA Colors Matte Liquid Eyeliner. It looks like this. So let's open that up. Now I believe this one is going to be a wand applicator, one of those that I'm not usually a fan of, but we've used a couple of them on the channel here, so I'm starting to get a little more familiar with them, but they're definitely not my favorite. Well, it is a brush tip. It is like a wand, but it's not like a felt tip, it's a brush tip. And again, if it were to be a wand like this, I usually do prefer it to be felt rather than these brushes. I just don't have a good control with them, but that's okay. That doesn't mean it's a bad product or anything. Let's go ahead and try to line the upper lash line. So I want to quickly say here before jumping in on the other eye here, I only had to dip in once on that, and I got this entire lash, the upper kind of lash line here filled. So that's really impressive. So let's see if we can do the same thing on the other eyelid. Okay, the other eyelid, upper lash line there is lined. Again, only had to dip in the one time, which is honestly super, super awesome. Looking at it here, it looks like it's drying down fairly matte, which is honestly really nice. I'm not a fan when it's kind of a shiny, kind of glossy dry down, but this is looking nice and black, very matte. It applied really nicely. I was a little worried at first because when you open it up here, it looks like even when you kind of wipe things up, the tip of it, there we go, the tip of it kind of like balls up a little bit of product, and I was worried that that was just going to kind of glob on the eye. I kind of started like in the center of the lid here to kind of put that down, and then as you have less product obviously and you can go closer to the inner eyelid here, it's nice and thin and it applied down nicely. So I was worried about that, but I think that honestly helped a little bit with the application and just having enough product on the brush here to apply your full lash line there. So let's set that guy down and move on to the mascara. The mascara is called the LA Colors Drama Lash Mascara. Looks like this. Okay. So here's what the brush looks like. It is a kind of like a bristle brush applicator there. It kind of, the way that they're laid out looks like it kind of narrows a little bit longer here and a little bit shorter up at the top. So let's go ahead and curl our lashes here and see how well this applies. We've got the top lash mascara applied. Here's what it looks like. Hopefully you guys can kind of see that picking up a little bit. Now, it applied really nicely. It feels really lightweight. It builds up really nicely. Unfortunately, the one little thing that I really always look forward to in a mascara is length. And this does not quite have the length I need. However, it's comfortable. Like, the application is smooth. The bristles feel really soft when applying. It's a really nice black color. I don't see my lashes necessarily falling, so it's not heavy or anything like that. Again, buildable, just doesn't have that length, which is a little bit of a bummer. So that's kind of the first impressions right now for that. Let's go ahead and let's do brows next. So for brows, we have two products, and we're going to start with the pencil. This is going to be the LA Colors Browy Wowie Brow Pencil. And this is in the shade Taupe. I think I've pronounced that incorrectly in previous videos, but I believe it's pronounced Taupe. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. So here's what it looks like in the packaging. Let's go ahead and open this up. Great. So on one end, we have a spoolie, which is super nice. Always like seeing a spoolie on our brow products. And on the other side, we have the brow pencil. It is kind of that long triangle shape, as you can see. Now, looking at the color here, and like even though the lid is really deceiving, it looks like it's going to be a little dark. So when trying to test it out here on my arm, it's definitely really gentle, so maybe it will be okay. All right, let's go ahead and comb through our brows and apply the brow pencil. All right, brows are filled in. Hopefully they're even. Honestly, still trying to figure the brow thing out here. But here's what that's looking like. I think it's honestly a fine color. I was a little bit worried about that, but it, you know, it applied really soft and it combed through really nicely. It does have a little bit of that kind of waxy feel to it. Not bothering me in this situation. Not mad about that so far. The one thing that's always a little bit of a letdown for me is these more triangle shaped applicators, because after a while that little tip just kind of like dulls down and you can't get that nice fine little like defined line like you would with like a regular pencil or like a micro tip brow applicator. So that's the one little letdown just off the bat here, but I do enjoy the color and I do kind of like how it's sitting on the eyebrows here for now. Let's go ahead and set those brows down with the gel. With the brow gel. This is the LA Colors Browy Wowie Tinted Brow Gel. And let's open up the packaging. So that is what the brush tip looks like. Small little bristle guy. Definitely a lot of product on there, so I do think I'm going to try to wipe it down here a little bit before going in because I don't want it to be too heavy. So let's go ahead and see how this applies to the brows. I think it's dried out. Not getting a whole lot. I'm going to comb through to see if I can get anything on them, but I don't think I can fairly give my impressions on this guy because I am pretty sure he's just dried out. All right. We applied that as best as we could, but not really anything came out. So the brows are still looking just fine. We just weren't able to set them down with a gel. So let's set that down. I believe we are moving on to the face now. So we are going to prime our face. For primer, what we have is the LA Colors Skin Perfecting Primer. It is the prep. It says it preps skin and fills pores. Very exciting. So opening it up here, the primer's on top and it looks like it does give you, ooh, they give you a little spongy thing on the bottom. Should we try that out? In a mirror. Nice up close mirror. Look at that. So you can really see those pores. We'll go ahead and try to use this. I just want to feel this. Ooh, it's buttery. So I guess what we'll do is we will dip in with this and just kind of apply it. More focusing on the larger kind of pore areas. So the center of the face here is kind of where I like to do that. And then if there's any excess product, just kind of pulling that out a little bit. So let's dip on in. Okay, we've got that applied nicely. It feels a little awkward, I guess, applying it with this little thing, but I do, when it comes to these more like creamy or buttery primers like this especially, I think I prefer going in with like some form of an applicator rather than my fingers. Because I always wonder if my like fingers or the oils on my hands or something are gonna like mess with how well this lays down. So I like that we use this rather than our fingers. I am gonna kind of feel it now here. Okay, so it feels like it settles in. It's not gripping or anything. It's not like blurring or anything like that, but it might be filling in the pores. It's kind of hard to tell. Like I can still see them, but maybe they're a little bit more filled in. But let's go ahead and jump into the foundation. Now the foundation is called the LA Colors Radiant Skin Nourishing Long Wear Liquid Makeup. And I decided to get two colors. I went with the LA Colors Vanilla and Ivory. So Ivory would probably match the concealer that we have, and then Vanilla might be a little bit darker. It's honestly really hard to tell in the packaging. So here's what that packaging looks like. We will probably have to open up both of them to see which one is a better shade. So I'll go ahead and open that up. So this one's Ivory. And opening it up here, it's so nice when you have these like affordable brands and they have a pump applicator. Like I love a pump app. I love a pump applicator, and it's so interesting when you find these more like expensive or higher end brands and they have like interesting wands, or you have to dump the product out. Like, clearly it's not that hard to make a pump applicator and make a product affordable. Not sure why not a lot of other brands do this. Let's pump some of this out. There it goes. All right, it looks like a thick consistency. Came out a lot faster. I think vanilla is lighter. Okay, we are definitely going with the ivory shade. And I think the vanilla one there is just a touch light or a touch yellow, so we're going with ivory. So for foundation, we're going to use a sponge. So I'm gonna go ahead and pump a little bit of that ivory shade on the back of my hand. One pump gets you a decent amount. I'm gonna start with like 2 pumps and start applying. Okay, so I used up those 2 pumps on my face here. I definitely like that coverage. I am going to build it up just a little bit more here. I would say that it is a lighter coverage foundation, but I do like how it like even skin tone out here really nicely. I think that shade worked out really, really well. So I'm going to put another, maybe like a half pump, and just kind of cover up a couple of these spots and maybe get a little bit more around the center nose area here, and see how well that sits over top. So I just added kind of in those small little areas here and kind of tried to add a little bit more on the nose. Definitely can still see some of those spots showing through, which is okay. I really don't mind, but just want to let you guys know that it is definitely more of a lighter coverage foundation. But again, I think it did do a good job of evening the skin tone out. Definitely has a very dewy kind of look to it. It says skin nourishing, so maybe it's kind of intended to be more on the hydrating side. Yeah, so very dewy finish. The feel, it feels like it's not quite set down, but it feels really light on the face. Like, I was kind of wondering if it would feel kind of similar to the concealer, where it had like a little bit of a stick to it, but not really. So it definitely needs to be set down, but I mean, if you wanted, like if you're somebody who is not crazy about powders or something like that, I don't think it's too necessary with this foundation. Very cool. Let's go ahead and put the lid on that guy and conceal under our eyes here. So going back in with the Ultimate Coverage Concealer, and because I knew that this one definitely goes a long way, I'm just going to dot it. Give yourself like 3 or 4 little dots there, and I'll just use my sponge this time and press that in. All right, we are concealed. So the concealer is definitely more of a matte type of coverage, and then that foundation is more dewy. So it's kind of fun to put the combo of them. So like now the center of my face is looking a little less loomy and a little bit more matted down, which honestly I do like that. So I think that combination is really nice. They were both the ivory shade, but even when pairing them together, the concealer is a little bit lighter, so it does do a touch of brightening, not a whole lot. Sometimes I do look for a little bit more brightening when it comes to the, you know, just like the separation in the shades there and making the under eye just a little bit brighter. But honestly, still, like, they pair together so nicely. So I'm enjoying that so far. Definitely has a little bit more of that tacky feel, like I stated earlier, than the foundation does. So we will want to set that down. I do want to mention before I forget that when I was about to go in with the eyeshadows there was a little bit of the creasing that was happening on the eyelids from the shadow. So just something to keep in mind with the shadows laid on there now. Not really seeing it, so that's really nice, but it definitely has a chance of possibly creasing up under our eyelids here. So I'm gonna pat that out real quick, and then we are going to go into our setting powder, which is the LA Colors Translucent Setting Powder. It looks very similar packaging to the Skin Perfecting Primer, so I got those really confused when I was preparing for this, and I thought like I had duplicates and stuff, but I don't. This one's the powder, other one's the primer. So here's what that looks like. Let's go ahead and open it up. And so we've got, it's a compact powder. They do have loose powder versions, but this was the only one that I was able to locate. As I've stated in previous videos, I typically do try to find a loose powder, but nothing wrong with the compact powder. That's just kind of a preference of mine. So today we are going to use the compact powder, and when we lift this up here, it looks like we've got a mirror and one of those similar sponge applicators. I wasn't sure if they were going to provide like a circular type brush thing down here, but it is one of those like cheap sponges, which I don't think that's what I want to do for powder necessarily. I didn't mind it for the primer, and I don't mind these types of little sponges either. Like, they're so nice to have for like small little things and touch-ups and whatnot, but I don't think for a powder like this, it's quite the route I want to go. So let's go ahead and I'm going to use a brush. This is the Sonia Kashuk brush, and we are going to go ahead and use that to set the eyes. And I might grab a larger one here for all over the face. Okay, yep, let's grab a larger brush here. This is going to be the Mary Kay All Over Powder Brush. Dip in and just quickly buff everywhere else. I don't really want to take down too much of that dewy. So we are set. Color did mattify things down a little bit, but you can kind of still see some of that shine coming through a little bit. I do have this little dry spot that's showing up here a little bit. That's probably just my skin. It would have been nice if that didn't get too emphasized, but honestly, not something I worry about too much, but I do want to show that there's something, whether it's the powder that pulled it up or like the foundation that's emphasizing that there, but definitely feeling a little bit more set down. So that's that. Let's go ahead and finish up under our eyes here. So we're going to go back into that Sweet 16's palette and figure out what we're going to do under the eyes. I think where I'm going to start is I'm going to grab the ColourPop E18 brush, and we're going to dip into that one of those transition shades that we used here. I'm not going to dip into both, but I'm going to use this darker one here and kind of start that all over the lower lash line. I'm going to take a combination of this purple and kind of that pinky red color together and start blending that kind of on the outer part here and blending that into the shadows on top. Things are deepened up there a little bit. Again, these shadows are just kind of soft. But I am liking how that is so far. I might still go in and deepen it a little bit more here. Not yet. I want to figure out what I want to do with the inner. I don't know if I want to do the same like gold, but I also just don't know. Let's go in with a Morphe M432 brush. I'll go ahead. I'm going to dip into this lighter shimmer shade. And I'm going to apply that more on the inner part of the lash line, the lower lash line. Okay, and then I think what I want to do is grabbing our ColourPop brush here again. I think I'm going to take that more pinky red shade and kind of just go over that. I'm going to bring some of this red more forward. And then grab our purple again and try to deepen things out here a little bit more. All right, so I think that's where I'm going to leave the lower lash line for now. Here's what that looks like up close. Definitely soft, but I think the colors are tying in nicely. Things are blending nicely still. Let's go ahead and put some mascara on those lower lashes. I think what I might even do here is try to recurl my top lashes so you guys can try to see them a little bit more, and then we probably will apply a little bit more mascara on those top lashes as well. So grabbing that LA Colors Drama Lash Mascara. So we got the lower mascara applied here. It was a little messy. I was honestly, when applying it to my upper lashes at first, I really thought, oh, this might be a good like bottom lash mascara because it is so like soft and nice and black, but it's not super lengthening and it felt really comfortable, but maybe not. I'm not really impressed. The applicator is kind of long, so it's really hard to get really up and close on your lash line there. And it got a little bit sloppy, not sure how much you can see that, but a little sloppy, and really did not apply as much as I enjoyed on the upper lashes, now here on the lower lashes, so a little bummed out by that. But I mean, it's still fine. The eyes look a lot more complete now with that bottom lash done. So let's go ahead and finish up the face here now. Let's introduce the bronzer. Now this is called the LA Colors bronzer, and it is shimmery. Now I know that they have other bronzers, but when this was like one of the first, this and the highlighter were one of the two first products that I purchased when I was getting started in recording these videos, because I really thought that LA Colors was going to be one of the very, very first videos I was going to record, but then I soon came to find out there are a lot more affordable brands underneath them as well, so they did just kind of sit tight in a little baggie in a drawer until I was ready for them. So they're finally getting their chance to hopefully shine. But yeah, it is a shimmery bronzer, which I don't know how thrilled I am about that. I'm going to try to open it here. Okay, so here's what that looks like. Oh, it's so goldy. I'm going to grab another Sonia. I'm just going to call them Sonia brushes because I can't pronounce the last name. I apologize. I'm just going to call them Sonia brushes. One is a wide-angled contour brush, and I'm going to dip in, blend on the back of my hand here. Oh, I feel like we're going to have a very similar situation to our She makeup video. Very shimmery, so bronzy. Okay, we're gonna go very lightly, apply this where we usually do the contours of the cheek, forehead, a little bit below, and hope for the best. Whew. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna grab a clean brush here. This one is a Mary Kay cheeks brush, and I'm gonna kind of go back and forth between the two brushes, and I'm gonna try to soften this up. Oh my goodness, that is intense. Okay, here's that. we are looking roasty toasty, shiny. I think what I'm gonna do is first take the back of my sponge here and see if I can maybe even still soften things up just a little bit more and settle things down, because oh my goodness. Okay, I don't think that's making a difference, but that's okay. Yeah, I don't know what to really say about it right now. Hopefully we can kind of correct things here as we put on the rest of our face. I think what I want to do, because it got a little bit lower down than I wanted to here, and it's obviously just really shiny. I think I'm gonna grab my setting powder and then grabbing a dry blender here, taking this flat edge here, really adding some product on, and we're gonna do a little bit of a bake down here and really try to clean up that bottom bronzer. And then I think I'm just gonna take with what's kind of left on there, just kind of quickly try to dabble over everything again and see if I can pull away some of that shine. And then taking our Mary Kay brush here, kind of sweep this away. That might have helped things a little bit. I think taking that powder and kind of dabbing it over on top pulled some of that shimmer away, so we might make this work, but it was definitely really startling right off the bat, just how much pigment that had. That I was not expecting at all, so yeah. But we are definitely bronzed, so let's go ahead and put some more product on our face here and introduce the blush. This is the LA Colors blush palette. So here is what the blush palette looks like. The packaging is really fun with this like shimmery pink packaging, and then we've got those 4 colors in there. They all look like they have some level of shimmer to them. Definitely this one here on the bottom and this, so kind of these diagonals from each other. So that one and that one both have the least amount of shimmer, but they do have a touch of them. I think I really just want this color right here. I might just kind of do a quick dip back and forth between the two, but this is the color I'm definitely most excited. So let's go ahead and grab a angled e.l.f. blush brush, and I'll just start by swirling into this guy here, applying this to the cheeks. Okay, look at that blush. Definitely has some pigment to it. I really like that color. You can see a little bit of the shine showing up on the face, which in this instance doesn't bother me. I only did use that one shade there, so I am kind of curious what these other shades are, but I'm liking how this is looking on the face for today. Cool, that's a nice color. Let's go ahead and set the blush down and introduce our highlighter. Now this is, like I mentioned, one of those first products I purchased for these videos. So this is just called the LA Colors highlighter. Opening him up, he looks like that. This one's kind of a silver, so hopefully it doesn't have any weird cast on the face or anything like that. I do try to usually go for like more pinky, like rosy pinky kind of highlighters. So this one might have a little bit of a gray cast. Maybe, I don't know. And maybe it'll be super mega pigmented like the bronzer was. So we're gonna go very light-handed here. I'm gonna grab one of those Sonia brushes here again, and we will dip in and apply. All right, and then we will take some to the brow bone here, and then I'll quickly grab my finger and apply this to the inner corner. There is that. Definitely has a good shine. I'm not sure, but I don't think the cast is too bad. I think I'm gonna quickly grab my sponge here and just quickly dabble over just to make sure things don't look too intense. But yeah, definitely shimmery on the face here, which we always like. I don't think it's overdoing it too much. Yeah, very awesome. I think that's the end of like the face products, and we are coming near the end of the video. I believe next we have the lip products. This is like a 2-in-1 lip product. This is the LA Colors Cream Lipstick. I think it's a 2-in-1 product. It appears like it is. I guess I'm not totally sure. I might be totally wrong on this. So there's a lipstick. I think the bottom opens. Aww. It's not a 2-in-1. I was wrong. The bottom just is nothing. It's just the base packaging. It looks like there's something down there, but I guess there's not, and it's like sort of long, so that's okay. We're gonna go ahead and just apply this color to our lips. Do I know the color? Latte. Okay, that was applied. It applied quick and easy. However, it is kind of like the way that the product is shaped is kind of interesting. So it feels a little different to be going in and trying to get things to look nice and precise here on the lips, but still it applied really quick. It's got a nice kind of buttery feel. I was a little worried because my lips are a little dry right now that would kind of show through, but applying it here right away definitely isn't emphasizing that. So the color's really nice. I think this color looks really good with the eyes and everything. Good job, Mary, you did it. Yay. So yeah, lips look really nice and I really like that color, and so far first application here feels really nice on the lips. Last product is our setting spray. So this is the LA Colors Matte Setting Spray. Now, all of these other products here, I have a general idea of what their price was. As I kind of stated at the beginning of the video, I may have spent a little more on some of these products than you typically would have at your dollar store. So I wanted to make sure that I provided that dollar store price. But this guy, I don't know if maybe this isn't made anymore or that maybe I got old packaging of it. I really don't know. But I spent way too much on this guy, and I'm not going to show that price for you because that's not what you should pay for this. So I kind of just averaged it out as best as I could, so I'll have that price in the little box here that I always put up. This is the one that I'm just really not sure how much it is, so that might mess with our pricing a little bit, but I still wanted to use it because I know that LA Colors makes setting sprays and they make a matte setting spray, but man, it was tricky to get, that's for sure. So let's open this guy up and give it a Mr. Test. I mean, it might be a touch harsh. It definitely leaves a little bit of droplets here on the hand. It says it's matte, but maybe just because there's a lot of stuff on my hand. It's not super matte sprayed on my hand here, but let's spray it here on the face and see what we think. I'm going to back up just a little bit so I can get some length. Then we will take our sponge here, just make sure everything's pressed in, get rid of any of those little droplets on the face. And that's the setting spray. It honestly doesn't feel very matte. I mean, honestly, I can't really necessarily feel it on the face here either. My battery's gonna die. I'm gonna try to get this ending. I don't know how much battery life. I'm gonna try to fly through the impression. So let's quickly get things settled up here. But here's our full face. And let's go ahead and start jumping into the individual products and what we think. Alrighty, we are back. Turns out the battery did die, so I've been away for about maybe 2 hours here to let that charge up. So let's go ahead and get this video wrapped up here now. Hopefully the lighting hasn't shifted too much here, but it might be a little bit darker, not a very sunny day, but that's okay. So let's go ahead and talk about the products individually. Again, I mean, it's been a little bit of time here. Here is the full face, the lip product is kind of wearing off here a little bit, but not, you know, it's wearing off nicely. Okay, so looking at our full face price here, I'll probably have to do a little bit of adjusting here, but I believe our full face set out to be $65. Now, I think I said something about it previously in the video where a couple of these products were products that I picked up right away because I had that anticipation of this being one of my first videos that we would be recording, but then was shocked that this actually has a little bit higher of a price than some of the previous videos that we've done. So looking at that $65 price range, what do I think? I mean, we got a full face. I'm gonna say I would have liked for it to be cheaper. I guess the fact that they list these as dollar store products, but they are still higher than some of the types of brands that you can get at a typical drugstore, like that's kind of interesting. So I mean, there's definitely products sitting here in front of me that I'm definitely really excited about and I will be using in future makeup looks that I do. However, there are unfortunately some products here that aren't going to make the cut, so that's a little unfortunate. So let's go ahead and talk about the products here individually. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is that eyeshadow palette. Now, I think we made a really good eye look here. It's nothing too crazy or bold, but I do like how the colors blended together. Definitely not the most pigmented. That main kind of copper color, I mean, that definitely has some really good pigment to it, but all the other shades in there, I wasn't, I guess, super thrilled on them. So even though I'm really happy with the overall look that we got here, I definitely don't think this is going to be a palette that I reach for very often, just because I do typically try to look for pigment and things like that in an eyeshadow palette. So this guy is unfortunately going to be a pass. However, if you do enjoy those more soft type of looks, you can definitely create something really nicely with this and for a really great affordable price. So just for me personally, not one that I'm quite a fan of. Next, let's go ahead and talk about the eyeliner. Now, I was actually very surprised by this eyeliner. I wasn't sure if I'd be a fan of the applicator and the way that the eyeliner kind of sits on the front, balls up at the front there, but honestly, was really shocked. The fact that I did not have to dip back in and I was able to just do a nice quick sweep and make a quick line here to the upper lash line. Very impressed, and it seems to be sitting on the eyes here nicely for the time that it's been on my eyes, and very matte and very black. So I'm definitely hanging on to this one for sure. Get some more practice with these types of applicators. Overall, it's so far performed really well. So the eyeliner is a yes. And then we have the mascara. Now at first I was kind of excited about this one, except for the fact that it didn't have the lengthening. It was very gentle feeling on the eyes, very buildable on the eyes, and I like the way that it combed through the lashes. It just didn't provide that length. But as I used it again and I tried to apply it on my lower lash line, which I thought would be, based off everything, I thought it'd be great for the lower lashes, but I was kind of surprised that I did not really like how it laid on the lower lash line. It was a little bit messy, which could always be some user error. Yeah, it was a little messy and the applicator's just a little bit big and it didn't really coat them as much as I hoped they would have. So even though it is a fine mascara and there are good things about it, I don't think it's one that I'm going to continue to use. Just comparing it here to other ones that I know I enjoy more, I don't think I will get much use out of this guy. So that one is going to go away. Then we have the brows. Now the brow pencil, I'm pretty shocked by it. I like the color of it, definitely a nice blonde color, and I was a little nervous that it was going to be kind of brown, but the formula of it is definitely really soft and you can really take your time to get the color to where you need it. It is a little bit waxy, however, it's not heavy at all on the eyes. So I think it's a great color and it blends nicely on the brows. The only downfall on it is the type of applicator that it is, the fact that it is this more triangle shaped applicator. Just not much of a fan of that. However, I'm not going to toss it for that reason. So this one is also going to be a yes for me. I will continue to use this one because I do enjoy the color and the way that my brows look today. So definitely a yes for that. And then we have the brow gel. And I wish I could give you guys a fair yes or no on this one, but I'm not sure. This one was dried out, so I wasn't able to really get any performance with it. So this specific one, I'm gonna pass. But if I ever do come across it, I'll definitely give it a try here and see if it is something I'd want to add to my collection, but it's hard to know. So this one's going in the garbage. And then that moves us onto the face. So next is going to be the primer. Now this one is so interesting because I do like pore filling primers, and I actually hold on to a lot of pore filling primers because I just, in the center here, I'm always looking for something. And something I've started to notice is with pore filling primers, because they're not like a gripping primer and they've kind of got like a slick to them, oftentimes foundations don't really sit on top of them very well. So I hold on to a lot of primers, pore filling specifically, because I want to find the one that works the best and foundation sits on it really nicely. And looking at this one here, I mean, it has been like 2 hours, so I do see it moving here from my nose a little bit. It's hard to tell. I do think for the time being, I am going to hold on to this one. I did like the feel, the buttery feel of it, and the way that it kind of dried down on the face. It wasn't, I mean, it had a little bit of pore filling to it, definitely, but I do think I have other primers that pore fill just a little bit better. But I think for the time being, this one will be a yes, and I will hang on to it and give it a couple of other tries. Then we have the foundation. Now the foundation here, the Radiant Skin Nourishing Long Wearing Liquid Makeup. This one is also going to be a yes. I was very surprised when putting it on my face. Like when I first pumped it out, I was like, ooh, this might be kind of thick. But blending it onto the face, it definitely has a little bit more of a thinner, it blends out nice and thin. And also a little bit does go a long way as well. It is a lighter coverage foundation and it doesn't have a lot of build to it, but I do like the finish that it provides and I do like how it evens out that skin tone. I can't feel it on my face here at all, so that's really nice. It doesn't need to, it needs to be set down, I think, a little bit, but it doesn't feel tacky like some foundations do where you feel like you need to put a whole bunch of powder and set it down right away. I think you could honestly get by with this one without having to set it down. This is definitely going to be a yes, and I do plan on using this one moving forward. So yes to the foundation. And then to the concealer here, the Ultimate Coverage Concealer. This one is also going to be a yes. I will say I know that I have other concealers that I enjoy a lot more, and it didn't quite give me that brightening that I usually look for in a concealer, but it does have really good coverage. I wouldn't say that it's a full coverage because I did start to notice, I have a little bit of dark circles that are going on under the eyes here, so it didn't quite conceal those up. I don't know, there's something about it that a little bit goes a long way and you definitely get that pigment payoff. So I do want to hang on to it, but still stating that I probably do have other concealers I also might enjoy more than it, but I thought I'd give it a fair shot and see how it works kind of with other products that I have. So that one is also going to be a yes for now. Then we set everything down with our LA Colors Translucent Setting Powder. I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna hang on to this one, partly because it's not a loose powder and I know like that shouldn't be a big determiner in this. Like even if it's a compact powder and it works well, like that shouldn't be a reason to get rid of it. I don't know. I wasn't thrilled by how well it set things down. It did an okay job when I tried to do the baking here, and it did help with kind of toning down that bronzer. We went through that bronzer situation. I just wasn't really shocked by it, I guess. It didn't make me feel super set in place. So I don't think this is going to be a product for me. So that one is going to go bye-bye. And then we have the bronzer. This guy right here is pigmented and glowy. Now, if you are into that, if you are into the high pigment bronzer, high glow, high shimmer bronzer, then you'd enjoy this. However, for myself personally, no. I like a matte bronzer. I like something that I can kind of build up. I felt like this was a lot of work to get it. I mean, it looks fine now, but you can still tell, like, I'm wearing bronzer and it's super goldy on my head there, which is not something I necessarily want. So this guy's gonna be a pass because it's too intense. It's too gold, too shimmery, and it just took a lot to get it settled down. So this one's a pass for sure. And then we have the blush palette here. So for this guy, I'm definitely gonna hang on to it. I am so happy with how this laid down on the cheeks here. I think it looks beautiful, and I'm super duper excited to give these other colors in the palette here a try as well. Pigment is great in this one. Now, I'm gonna jump back here on the bronzer. It's so interesting because like pigment in a blush is awesome. If you can just kind of get that pigment that you want and you don't have a heavy amount of product on your face, awesome. However, bronzer on the other hand, I think that's something you want to build up and have the precise amount of sculpting instead of just caking on a whole bunch of bronzer. Yes, blush is a yes. Definitely going to be hanging on to this one and using that for future makeup looks. And then we have the highlighter here. Now, I enjoyed it. I think this is going to kind of have a similar thing to the concealer where I like how it's looking on the face here, but I don't know how much I'm going to pick it up. Yes, I am going to hang on to it because I do like highlighters a whole lot. I guess it didn't necessarily thrill me. It does look beautiful, but it's probably not going to be one of my favorites. So it is a yes. However, it's just another highlighter, I guess. So we're going to put that in the yes pile over here. And then next we have the lip color. Now this guy is also going to be a yes. I think this lip color is beautiful. And even with it being on my lips here for a couple of hours, it's wearing down really nicely. My lips are starting to look a little bit dry. I was kind of saying that previously, but I mean, really not too bad. So I'm very happy with the color, very happy with how this is sitting on the lips here. It does kind of have a weird, when you first open it and it's a brand new lipstick, it feels a little funny the way that it's shaped, but obviously over time that stuff will settle down and that won't be as much of an issue. This color specifically and the formula that this is in, that's a yes for sure. And then our last product here is the setting spray. This guy, I don't think I'm gonna hang on to it. I sprayed it and there wasn't anything off the bat that I was super shocked about. And I definitely know that I have other setting sprays that perform so much better, so much more noticeably. So in this instance, it's not even very matte. I don't know if this is a setting spray for me. So this guy is going to be a pass. So we were kind of cut 50-50 there. Definitely some products that I'm not gonna get a lot of use out of, which is a little bit unfortunate, but there are about 8 products sitting here that I definitely am excited to use and will definitely use in daily makeup routines that I have. Again, for that price of being $65 and only getting about half of it is kind of a bummer. I do wish this could be a closer price comparison to some of those other brands that we've talked about already, like Wet n Wild, Rimmel, even some of those first ones that we did that were like $30 and under. It's just so interesting that this one is $65. But that's okay. I think that's gonna be everything for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this brand new face video, and I hope you guys like how the makeup turned out. If you did enjoy the video, please give it a big thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate that. And if you want to see more of my videos, be sure to hit the subscribe button and then that notification bell so you can be notified of the next time that I post. If you have any LA Colors makeup that you'd like me to put to the test, feel free to leave that in the comments down below. I'd be happy happy to try and get my hands on it and test that out for you. And then also if there's any products here or any LA Color products here that you want me to put to a full wear test, please leave that in the comments down below as well, and I'd love to try to make that happen for you. And lastly, if you have any brand recommendations, leave those in the comments down below as well. I would love to add it to the list of so many brands and make a future video for you. That's gonna be everything for this video. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.